NBC 7 News at 4 starts now.
6 Sierra. All right. Doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go.
Those were a pilot's last words just minutes before flying through dense fog and crashing into a local military community. This video was recorded moments after this morning's crash in Murphy Canyon. You're going to see people running in the streets. They have their kids, they have their pets, rows of cars and houses burning all around them.
And I heard a loud bang, and when I opened my eyes, my whole room was lit up in orange, and I turned around to look out the window, and all I saw was a burst of flames behind my house.
Thanks for joining us for the news at 4. I'm Catherine Garcia.
And I'm Nichelle Medina in for Monica Dean. The Cessna 550 crashed just before 4 this morning on Salmon Street in Murphy Canyon.
The NTSB says the jet hit power lines 2 miles southeast of Montgomery Field and then collided with a house. Now, nobody on the ground was killed, but the FAA says 6 people were on the plane and they believe there are no survivors. Among the victims, Dave Shapiro. He's a licensed pilot who the plane was registered to. He was also a co-founder of a music industry representation company called the Sound Talent Group. It also appears a former rock drummer named Daniel Williams was on board. He played for the band The Devil Wears Prada.
We have team coverage right now. NBC7's Dana Williams spoke with victims at an evacuation center, and Todd Strain talked with a pilot about the flight conditions at the time of the crash.
Let's get started with NBC7 Shelby Bremer. She is at the scene right now. She has the very latest on the investigation. Shelby?
Yeah, Catherine, Nichelle, it's been a chaotic scene all day, and hours later, you can still smell the jet fuel. Now, what we do know is that the plane entered the neighborhood from this direction over here. You can see this brick wall is broken, debris strewn everywhere, and then the jet collided with this house here. Now, miraculously, there were only a handful of minor injuries on the ground. Officials say that all of the deaths came from those aboard the private jet. They do believe there were no survivors.
Yo.
Confusion and horror as those who live in Murphy Canyon awoke to an apocalyptic scene. At around 3:45 a.m., a Cessna 550 crashed from the sky onto Salmon and Sample Streets.
Oh my God, a plane just crashed right here.
Open the blinds and you just saw blaze, like literally from like going from over the house. I was like, what? The neighbor's house is on fire.
Ronald Jones had no idea what happened, but rushed his family to safety.
Earthquake, gas line. A car hit a transformer. We had no clue of anything. All we knew was we needed to get out of there.
Investigators say the private jet was carrying 6 people as it left New Jersey Wednesday night. It stopped for fuel in Wichita, Kansas, and was destined for Montgomery Airport. This photo shows the plane before takeoff, posted on social media by musician Daniel Williams. Sound Talent Group shared they lost 3 employees, including co-founder Dave Shapiro, a licensed pilot. The NTSB says the plane hit a power line 2 miles southeast of the airport before it came crashing down, destroying a home and several cars below.
Found fragments of the airplane that are not yet to be identified underneath the initial power lines, and then we do have a wing on the road just on the other side.
The field of debris is still too wide to fully understand in one of the largest military communities in the world. Their emergency preparedness, officials say, saved lives.
I can tell you this, the military families did a phenomenal job as firefighters were getting on scene to help one another, get people out of houses.
Many pieces of the puzzle hours later remain a mystery.
So this airplane likely has a flight data recorder and possibly a cockpit voice recorder as well. We haven't recovered those now.
But with no deaths on the ground, many said it was a miracle this tragedy wasn't far worse.
From the top of the street to the bottom of the street, the next street over was in flames. Yeah, and we were like, we could have been next.
The NTSB says they'll be here all day, all night, and likely tomorrow. Now, about 100 people were evacuated from this area. Some have returned, but the homes closest to this area have not yet returned. The military says they're working on temporary lodging. For now, reporting live from Murphy Canyon, Shelby Bremer, NBC7.
Yeah, and Shelby, just looking around you, I mean, the amount of destruction, knowing that there's jet fuel that's all around this area, it's going to be a long time before they can get this ready for people probably to move back in safely, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And we've talked to some residents who say not only will it take a long time to recover this area, the physical property, but emotionally, this is something that's going to stay with them forever.
Yeah, no doubt it's been a scary morning. Shelby, thank you. And as many as 50 military families cannot go back to their homes. The devastation is just too great in their neighborhood. Local nonprofits are lending a hand at an evacuation center that has just moved to Hancock Elementary.
NBC7's Dana Williams is there. She joins us now with what's going on and again with these people who are just going to have a long road to recovery after this, Dana.
You know, and that's kind of been the theme of today, a long road to recovery. But today, in the interim, while people are just trying to get on their feet, really, and a fair amount of the people here who we spoke with say they're not even sure what they have to go back home to. But still, there has been a lot of inspiring actions here today. Like you just heard in Shelby's package, this is a large military community. It was military housing that the plane crashed into. And so just this pile behind me, this has grown doubled, tripled just in the last 15 minutes that we've been standing here. The other thing, military families means there are a lot of kids. And so a lot of these donations are car seats. I see bassinets, there are diapers, bottles, all the very, very basic items. And we spoke with some people who I want to actually have you listen to yourself right here about what they saw early this morning.
I heard like this like big bang like behind me and like lots like sounds outside, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
Oh my God.
I open the door, I see my neighbor's car explode.
It was just flames, like, and you could hear the popping sounds of the cars going down the lane. Yeah.
There was a big fire, like a really huge fire. We didn't know what was going on.
First thing I do is run upstairs, grab my children, my wife, and I'm in my underwear.
It was a 3 a.m. wake-up call no one wanted.
I was like, am I gonna die? Are we gonna like make it out of the fire? Or like, are we gonna like get our house back at least? Are we gonna go back?
It actually happened directly in front of my house. Like from me to you is how close it was. My lawn was on fire when we got out.
Timon Wilkes says he's been in the Navy for 8 years. You can imagine what he's seen, but he says nothing quite compares to this.
You're fighting fires in the fleet, but when you're fighting a fire at your home, it's a little different. My children are there and stuff like that.
Thankfully, he and his family were able to get out safely. They joined dozens of others and came here to Miller Elementary School.
There's clothes all up under there. We all bond together really tightly when anything happens that's bad. Even when anything that happens is good.
Sabrina Schroth's husband is also with the Navy. She lives a block away from the school and came to donate. But she says this scene, neighbor helping neighbor, is just how the military community operates.
They are quick to bond because of how much we move around and everything. So I think we just see it as coming together like we normally do. I don't think we think it's anything special.
But sometimes when all you have are the clothes on your back.
My command gave me this. I have one t-shirt under this, and I'm grabbing some clothes right now because we're not allowed in our house.
It really is special for those who wonder, is there anything left?
If there is a house, I don't even know if our house is there yet.
It's not yet clear when these families will be able to return to their homes. We know that certain streets reopened just about 2 hours ago, and that's actually when the evacuation site moved from Miller Elementary, about a half a mile away now, to Hancock Elementary. So again, if you're watching this, if you want to make donations, this is the spot where you're able to bring those. If you also are watching this and you're one of these families who needs to pick something up, this is the place. Again, it's Hancock Elementary. But for now, reporting live from the Murphy Canyon neighborhood, I'm Dana Williams, NBC7.
All right, Dana, thank you. Well, from people to pets, the San Diego Humane Society rushed in to help evacuated pets, including 3 huskies that had jet fuel on their fur. Please help get the 3 dogs to the Humane Society's van. They were taken to the Gaines Street Center where the medical team gave them a bath. The Humane Society took in a total of 8 dogs at Gaines Street. Another 8 puppies were taken to the Escondido campus for decontamination baths.
Poor guys. Yeah. Well, radio transmissions from the flight's final moments really have provided some insight into a couple of things: the weather conditions the pilot faced this morning and what it's like to land at Montgomery Field.
NBC7's Todd Strain is at Montgomery Field right now with more on that and, of course, reaction from pilots. Todd.
The control tower here at Montgomery Field was closed last night. It closed at 8 p.m., so there was no one in the tower at the time of the accident. But the pilot was in communication with a regional command center that's common for pilots to talk to when the local command center is closed. Now, in talking to pilots today who have heard those last-minute radio transmissions, they provide some perspective on what's that like. I also talked to pilots who've landed here at Montgomery Field to get a feel for just how difficult and challenging this airport can be.
Okay, 6 Sierra, a little better, but higher minimum, so probably not a great option either.
LiveATC.net has the communications
Cleared RNAV 28 right approach, Montgomery.
between the plane's pilot and Southern California approach control in the final moments before the crash.
6 Sierra, all right. Doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go.
You never want to hear a pilot say, well, we'll give it a go, because that's rolling the dice with his life, his passengers, and people on the ground whose heads and homes he's flying over.
Robert Katz has 43 years experience as a commercial pilot and flight instructor. He's been going over the communications and the flight details.
So what we see here is the rate of descent becoming erratic.
Katz says automated weather conditions are supposed to be updated every minute, but that was not the case this morning when the plane was approaching.
Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport.
Automated weather observation, wind missing, visibility missing.
The sky conditions at the time, which were unsuitable for landing at this airport. And therefore the approach never should have been attempted in the first place. So if a pilot wants to go take a look, he does so at his peril.
It was not good weather. The fog and the marine layer as it moves in can be down to 0-0, which is not good. 0-0, you're going to go somewhere else.
Jim Kittrick estimates he's flown into Montgomery Field 50 to 100 times. Kittrick says between visibility, issues with plane instruments, or all sorts of other things, lots can happen when landing at Montgomery Field, but you just cannot be low.
Well, he was very low. All the altitude readouts, he was way below the glide slope, probably 700 or 800 feet below where he actually should have been.
The NOAA has confirmed that the weather instrumentation here at Montgomery Field stopped working on Tuesday. Since then, they've been using the weather instruments from Miramar. Now, in talking to pilots today, they say that is a huge difference because even though those two airports are geographically close, the weather can be very different depending upon the time of day, time of night, and even minute to minute. That fog can just pop up on you. Reporting from Montgomery Field, I'm Todd Strain, NBC 7.
Yeah, I think we've all seen that, Todd, where you go one block and it looks different when the fog's around. So that makes sense. Thank you.
Well, you might be watching this and wondering, how can I help? Well, right now you can help the families who were evacuated during this emergency. And as we've mentioned, many are military families. A group of nonprofits is collecting diapers, wipes, and non-perishable food, as well as gift cards for clothing, gas, and other needs. San Diego is known for its support of military families, according to David Boone, president and CEO of San Diego's Military Advisory Council.
In times like this, we want to make sure we're taking care of their families. And of course, children that move a lot and are exposed to the lifestyle of military families, we want to minimize their trauma as well.
Well, you can drop off donations at 0800. It's located at 4699 Murphy Canyon Road. You can also head to Support the Enlisted Project. That's located at 9915 Business Park Avenue. Our coverage of the crash continues throughout this newscast and at 5, 6, and 11. You can also go to NBC7.com and our news app, where we're posting live updates from our reporters there at the scene. There's also a photo gallery from the crash site. You can sign up for breaking news alerts we send for any major developments.
Right, so you heard how fog possibly could have played a big role in this morning's crash. Let's check in now with meteorologist Francella Perez to talk about that.
That's right, Catherine and Michelle. We had very thick, dense fog overnight tonight into this morning. Right now, the fog is hovering right along the beaches, so it hasn't completely cleared. But again, we do know that it was very dense last night. And let's talk about Spatial disorientation. Basically, it's when a pilot loses its orientation. The pilot can't tell the altitude or the speed related to other points of reference, or the pilot may actually mistaken thinking that they're flying straight, level, but they're actually going down. So that's especially dangerous at night when visibility was down anywhere between a quarter of a mile to half a mile. This is per the National Weather Service. That was the closest observation. Right now, visibility is looking okay, a little bit lower over Oceanside, but as early as 8 o'clock tonight, we are going to start to see the marine layer push back in to the coastal areas, all the way into the valleys, and the fog is going to get pretty thick as early as 8 o'clock tonight, and then overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, as low as half a mile, possibly even less than that, because it is expected to get more dense and the onshore flow is going to strengthen. So that's going to drive that marine layer to deepen. So again, tonight through tomorrow morning, very dense fog, visibility down to a quarter of a mile or less. Make sure that you slow down, use your low beams, and if you're going to the airport, check your flight status, because that may bring some delays as well. We'll have your weekend forecast, Memorial Day holiday coming up.
Okay, see you soon. Thank you, Francella. We do have a lot of other news to talk about as well, including a first for Pope Leo XIV. I'll tell you what he did for the first time today and how it specifically involves San Diego.
An NBC7 Investigates reveals that thousands of veterans have been mistakenly declared dead by the VA and had their disability benefits cut off. We're pushing for answers after a local vet spent months trying to get them to recognize he's still alive.
Closed captioning is sponsored locally by Precision Garage Door Service. Quick service, expert repairs. Precision when you need it most.
Gonna eat healthy today. Start with oatmeal? Great. So why don't you feel great? Turns out oatmeal can make your glucose spike, which could actually make you want to eat more. Your body just reacts to different foods differently. So use Lingo. It's a biosensor that shows you what works for your body. No general guidelines, no guesses. Just a report on what works for you and only you. Try Lingo to see what food is right for you.
When you do your grocery shopping at Smart & Final, you'll find low prices every day and savings in every aisle. Get everything you need for Memorial Day and more, only at Smart & Final. Where else?
If you're looking to sell your house and you want the convenience of a guaranteed cash offer, I'd be honored if you'd give us a try. There are no banks, no closing costs, no expensive real estate commissions. Just go to ibuyasd.com.
ibuyasd.com.
Did you hear that Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Oof.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm.
Pilates later?
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
Life's messy, but your floors don't have to be. The Dreamy X50 Ultra Robot Vacuum has 20,000 pascals Vormax suction that lifts dirt quietly with an advanced fluid dynamic design. The world's first robotic retractable legs glide over obstacles up to 2.36 inches with minimal noise. The 2-in-1 wet-dry vacuum that makes floor cleaning ever so easy, so you can focus on the moments that matter. The Dreamy X50 Ultra. Relax, we've got this.
So it's your first time sharing this?
Yeah. At Kelly Clarkson.
This is a dance you're going to teach us.
Learn something new.
That's a good one. Write that down.
You're welcome. Weekdays.
Watch and learn at the Kelly Clarkson Show.
Tomorrow at 3 on NBC7.
We are hearing from San Diegans who jumped into action to help their neighbors when that private jet crashed into Murphy Canyon. We spoke with one mom, Jasmine, who said her house shook so violently it woke up her family. She said the flames were right in front of the house behind hers. She knew there was a family living there, so she started yelling out her window to try to wake them up.
And then I heard the mom scream that she couldn't get out, that she couldn't escape. And so I screamed out for my son. My 16-year-old son ran and grabbed the ladder. and we got on our trampoline and threw it over our fence. And we were able to help them climb over a fence. One mom, 2 kids, 2 dogs, and unfortunately their large dog stayed behind. But as far as I know, he's okay.
Jasmine and her neighbors evacuated because of the flames, but also the smell of fuel in the air.
Pope Leo XIV, history's first American pope, made his first American bishop appointment right here in San Diego. The Pope named Bishop Michael Pham as Bishop of San Diego. The 58-year-old fills the vacancy created when Pope Francis named Cardinal Robert McElroy Archbishop of Washington, D.C. earlier this year. Pham was born in Vietnam and ordained a priest in 1999 and a bishop in 2023. An expert at USD says Bishop Pham was a great choice.
He's well known around town, well known around the diocese because of his warmth, his good humor, his deep desire to be with people, his compassionate leadership style. So he's somebody who had just a wonderful reputation. And as I've gotten to know him the last few years, it's all well earned for sure.
Dr. Lovett Collier with USD says it's a point of pride that the first bishop Pope Leo has appointed is the Bishop of San Diego.
A man is in custody and accused of killing 2 Israeli embassy staffers at an event last night at the Capitol Jewish Museum. The victims were a couple. They were soon to be engaged. The FBI conducted a raid at the suspect's home in Chicago and is investigating this as a possible hate crime. NBC's Mark Seagraves has the latest.
It happened just after 9 last night outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum here in Northwest D.C. Inside an event sponsored by the American Jewish Committee, a pro-Israel advocacy group that confronts anti-Semitism. While outside, police say 31-year-old suspect Elias Rodriguez was pacing back and forth on the sidewalk when he confronted 4 people leaving the event. According to police, Rodriguez had a handgun and opened fire, killing 30-year-old Yaron Lejinsky and 26-year-old Sarah Lynn Milgram. Both were employees of the Israeli embassy. After shooting the 2 victims, police say Rodriguez discarded his weapon in a flower pot and walked inside to the museum lobby where he was taken into custody. As he was being handcuffed, Rodriguez yelled, "Free, free Palestine."
Free, free Palestine!
Today, law enforcement officials carried out a search warrant at Rodriguez's home in Chicago. Stephen Jensen, the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington field office, said at a news conference the shooting will be investigated as a possible hate crime, and Israeli officials have called the killings a terrorist attack motivated by anti-Semitism.
Rodriguez appeared in federal court this afternoon. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and could face additional charges.
Justices on the U.S. Supreme Court issued a tied decision today, which means Oklahoma will not be able to launch the nation's first religious charter school. The ruling was 4-4 because Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself. She didn't provide a reason for doing so. So a tie means the lower court's ruling stands, which in this case said the proposal to launch a Catholic virtual school using taxpayer money violates the Constitution and state law. Because the high court justices did not reach a majority decision, the ruling does not set a nationwide precedent on if states are allowed to finance religious charter schools.
Well, you might want to check your refrigerator. The FDA is recalling cucumbers that are making people sick in several states, including in California.
Get Memorial Day savings all month long at Kearney Mesa Kia.
Smooth and easy buying.
See us now and bring us your trade.
Show off what you're driving.
Hit the road in style this summer in a new K4. Yours now for just $179 per month. Or take home a fuel-efficient Nero Hybrid for just $249 per month. Hurry to the #1 Kia dealer in San Diego.
Kearney Mesa Kia is easy to find on Grandma Mesa East of 805.
A vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line is so much more because there's more included. Like unlimited drinks.
Followed by amazing meals at amazing restaurants.
Plus free Wi-Fi. Oh, hey, Mom, I gotta go. I love you.
Did I mention unlimited drinks?
Hello. And excursion credits so you can explore even more.
I love more. Get more out of your vacation with Norwegian's More at Sea. Can I get more? Oh. Experience more with Norwegian.
Jerome's is celebrating Memorial Day with the Sealy Posturepedic Special Factory Buy. For a limited time, get Sealy's precision fit coils for proper targeted support at Jerry's price. Get this queen mattress with a head and foot adjustable base for only $7.99. That's right, a premium Sealy mattress and an adjustable base for just $7.99.
And furnish your entire home with up to 60 months no interest financing.
Or get a state sales tax discount.
And now free expedited shipping.
Hurry to Jerome's for big Memorial Day savings.
Parents, if we're on screens too much, what about you?
So let's addict them and go outside on safari
To hang with the coolest,
kookiest, tallest animals ever.
whoa, we can hop with them,
Get real close to them.
and every visit helps the animals. But that screen around can't do it justice. So let's get out here and join the herd
at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park.
You could go from point A to B, or you could go to point X. The BMW X Range. Your next X venture starts here.
Drive a new X3, just $659 a month at BMW of Carlsbad.
Here is another example of why we love to live in San Diego. Look at that.
Wow.
Somebody going in on a surfboard. It's just like picture perfect out there, Francella, along the coast.
Yeah, and the three amigos, a little bit of a
That's
breeze
our palm
there.
trees right there.
Or three amigas, I would say.
That's right. Right here. There you go.
That's right. All right. Well, let's take a look at our weather headlines. It's been a nice day. Certainly temperatures were warm, although they did cool down just a touch. We have stronger onshore flow and that sea breeze. So the cooling trend began today, but you're going to feel it even more as we head into the next couple of days. We'll have temperatures that are going to be more seasonable for this time of the year. With that onshore flow strengthening because of a trough to our north, we're also going to get some gusty winds that are going to be targeting the mountains and the desert areas. The marine layer is also going to be returning. It hasn't gone away completely. We're still getting a bit of that. But then tonight, we're going to see a deeper marine layer with some patchy dense fog, maybe even some patchy drizzle tonight into tomorrow morning. Meantime, overnight lows for tonight, we're going to look at 59 for coastal areas, so looking at 51 for inland valleys, the desert 67, the mountains 44, and the marine layer again will be deepening, becoming more extensive, pushing into the valleys, and then it'll begin to clear by tomorrow morning. Partial clearing only for the coastal areas, again without possibility of some patchy mist or drizzle. Visibility could drop to half a mile or less tonight to tomorrow morning. So slow down, turn on your low beams if you're going to be driving tomorrow morning when you go to work, when you go to school. Increase your following distance from other cars and check for possible flight delays because the marine layer is only going to get thicker and thicker, especially as we head into Sunday. So here's a look at your day planner for San Diego. We're going to start with those clouds without fog. Temperatures will be right around 59 at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then by lunchtime, we'll warm up to about 68 degrees. So we'll continue to see that cooling trend tomorrow. 70 for the coast, 81 for the inland valleys, the mountains 74, deserts 102. We are going to be going back to more seasonable temperatures, 1 or 2 degrees within the norm. So that is good news. And that's also because of that trough that I was mentioning. We're going to have a couple of them, one and then a secondary one moving in Sunday into Monday. So that's going to be enhancing that onshore flow, bringing us a cool down. Saturday, in fact, will be the coolest day of the week. So 69 for the coast. Saturday for the inland valley, 75, mountains 70, the deserts 94. Sunday and Sunday, the temperatures recover just a bit, and they're going to remain very similar Sunday and Monday. So low 70s for the coast, inland valleys, upper 70s, not a big change there. Mid 70s also for the mountains, and the deserts right around 100 degrees. So by the way, since Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer, just wanted to give you a countdown to summer. A lot of people have been asking about summer. When is it going to start? 29 days from now. We'll take a closer look at your 10-day forecast when I see you next.
All right, Francella, thanks. Our coverage of the deadly private jet crash continues right after the break with more from residents who ran for safety as flames tore through their neighborhood.
Oh, wow, look at this. It's a summer pet-tacular at the San Diego County Fair. The very best value for your entertainment dollar. There are so many great ways to save. It's simply remarkable.
San Diego, with employee pricing, you pay what we pay. And with only 5 days to save, the deals are even bigger during the Ford Memorial Day Sell-a-thon. Right now, get an extra $1,000 open trade assist cash on Ford's best-selling trucks and SUVs. Ford, we're from America, for America. Get employee pricing plus lease a Bronco Sport Big Bend for just $269 a month. But hurry, these deals end May 27th during the Ford Memorial Day Sell-a-thon. Go to your San Diego County Ford dealers today.
I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. I think Morgan & Morgan represented me the best that they could and got me the best settlement that they could.
Morgan & Morgan lived up to what they say they're going to do. They got more than I expected.
They made sure that I got everything that I possibly could and then some. I was amazed.
Morgan & Morgan went out of their way. That's all I can say. They went out of their way and got me what I needed.
It didn't matter that it was just a small injury. They got more money than I would have ever expected.
You've heard our jingle, we know how.
We also know why. After 40 years, you continue to trust Bill Howe.
Because we get the job done right the first time.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. Because we know how.
Everyone else eats sandwiches and seems fine. But you're not everyone. That sandwich just made you crash. You're tired. You can't focus. But instead of a coffee, try Lingo. It's a biosensor that tracks your glucose, so you know how your body, and only your body, reacts to different foods. It's proof. For you, sandwich, not so good. Sushi, amazing. Try Lingo to see what food is right for you.
San Diego, it's Manny Sedano. It's a great pleasure to announce that Kearney Mesa Volkswagen is now part of the Sedano Automotive Group. As a veteran-owned business, we understand the value of your hard work and our integrity. And with one of San Diego's largest inventory, we're committed to providing you with automotive solutions no matter your situation. So yes, Kearney Mesa Volkswagen is now part of the Sedano Automotive Group. Visit us today and experience the difference. Kearney Mesa Volkswagen, a dealership for the people. Hoorah!
It's a summer pet-tacular at the San Diego County Fair. Can't see it all in just a day, so get a fair season pass. Choose the Fair Fanatic for the ultimate experience. Both include unlimited admission. That's remarkable.
NBC 7 News at 4 starts now.
We are following developments in the deadly private jet crash in Murphy Canyon.
The Cessna 550 crashed near Salmon Street while preparing to land at Montgomery Field just before 4 this morning. The FAA says 6 people were on board. It is believed there are no survivors. The NTSB says the jet clipped a power line before the crash, and there was no communication tower active at the time. Several homes in the military community and cars caught fire, forcing people to evacuate.
From me to you is how close it was. My lawn was on fire. When I saw a beam of light, and then it was a bigger boom than lightning, which we originally thought it was lightning. But then I opened the door, I see my neighbor's car explode. Stuff is on fire. The first thing I do is run upstairs, grab my children, my wife.
Nobody on the ground was killed. Among those killed on the jet, Dave Shapiro, a licensed pilot who the plane was registered to. He was also a co-founder of a music industry representation company.
So you may remember this story. A San Diego Navy veteran lost his disability benefits after the VA wrongly declared him dead. He spent 5 months trying to prove he was alive without luck. But only after he reached out to NBC7 Investigates, the VA fixed the mistake and reimbursed 5 months worth of checks. Well, tonight, NBC7 Investigates brings us a distressing update. According to federal records, that San Diego man is not alone.
Alexis Rivas discovered he's one of thousands of living, breathing veterans the agency has wrongly declared dead.
Nearly 5,000. That's how many veterans the VA declared dead since 2020 and has since recognized as still alive. That is thousands of people who suddenly stopped receiving benefits, and restoring them often takes months.
For some veterans, losing out on benefits can mean
I woke up to getting this packet.
losing their home. He woke up to an eviction summons. At the time, 25-year-old Navy veteran Sky Lowe had gone 5 months without his disability benefits. The check stopped after he got this letter from the VA.
We're saddened to learn of the passing of Sky Lowe. We would like to extend our deepest, heartfelt sympathy for you and your family.
He immediately called the VA and says an employee acknowledged Lowe was clearly alive. Yet his VA status stayed unchanged.
The very least y'all can do is just communicate, hey, give us 2 weeks. And I will sit down and leave it alone. But it's been months and months.
Months without benefits that Lowe said made the difference between affording rent or living out of his car.
Right now, I feel like I'm already living in the worst case scenario of getting an eviction notice. My car note is months behind. My electricity bill is due. And it's just like, I don't have the resources to pay all of these.
It just got in my guts.
Ron Stark is president of the San Diego Veterans Coalition. It's a group that works to connect veterans with aid.
This is a horrible story. This is and I will go on record, this is horrible.
Each year since 2020, the VA acknowledges around 1,000 veterans it thought were dead were actually alive. Keep in mind, this only counts the veterans whose benefits the VA restored, not the total number of vets the VA lists as dead who claim they're alive.
And this could happen to anyone.
80% of service members leave the military without retiring, meaning their VA benefits are often the only checks they'll get in return for their service. More than 2 months after we first reached out to the VA, the agency hasn't explained what went wrong in Sky Lowe's case or why it took them so long to correct it. They've repeatedly refused our requests for an interview to talk about how the VA wrongly declares hundreds of veterans as dead each year, withholding thousands of benefits to men and women who served, or what, if anything, it's doing to fix what appears to be a national recurring problem.
It's a tough message. It's like, you should respond.
Congressman Mike Levin told us he too is troubled by the lack of communication from VA Secretary Doug Collins' staff.
It is entirely unacceptable that even one veteran would have their benefits cut on the mistaken notion that they had deceased, when in fact they're alive and well and contributing positively to our community.
So when we shared our findings that it's happening to not one, but thousands of veterans.
Jeez. So you certainly have my commitment that I'll work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to get to the bottom of what's happening here.
Representative Mike Levin, who sits on the Appropriations Committee, says he will work with fellow committee members to figure out how this is happening and how to fix it. In the meantime, here in San Diego, Ron Stark says he'll also bring up our findings to local and federal representatives at the next monthly meeting of veterans groups. Alexis Rivas, NBC 7 Investigates.
Well, there is help out there for vets dealing with benefits issues beyond contacting the VA. The San Diego Veterans Coalition works with more than 100 groups to connect vets with what they need. And we have all that information on our website, NBC7.com.
In Imperial Beach, students at Mar Vista High School returned to school today, one day after learning a student aide had been arrested on charges of having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old student. NBC7's Omari Fleming has the latest on the investigation.
Deputies say a 31-year-old student support aide here at Mar Vista High School was allegedly having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old student. They say she even tried to keep him from telling anybody. Parents I talked to say this is a violation of their trust. Lisette Ortega Velez behind bars on charges of having oral sex and intercourse with a student at Mar Vista High where she worked. Sheriff's investigators confirmed these social media pictures of the woman who is 14 years older than her alleged victim.
Wow. I know.
The allegations have students disgusted.
I think it's gross because, I mean, like you have so many options and then you choose a kid. Why do you find kids attractive? Why can't you find someone your own age?
The sheriff's office says the 31-year-old aide was arrested Wednesday off campus after school officials called them Monday to investigate. Investigators say the alleged incidents happened off campus sometime during this school year. They say while Velez communicated with the minor with the intent of committing a lewd act, they aren't confirming if any pictures were exchanged. Investigators also say she doesn't have any other criminal history of this nature, but they are urging parents to call them if they suspect their child may be a victim.
Bad human resources job, bad hiring practices.
Mar Vista High parent Beto B says what he's seen on her online profile is concerning.
It's just not somebody I would have hired to take care of my kids or to teach my kids.
Velez is employed by Roe Health in San Diego, which contracts with Mar Vista High School. Neither the district or Roe would confirm how long she's been employed, but in a statement to NBC7, Roe Health wrote, "It's our privilege to serve the medically fragile population. Student safety is paramount. In addition to validating competency, we conduct thorough background checks, including DOJ and FBI fingerprint clearance."
They want my ID to have to get through that door, to even go and pay for an activity for my kid, but they're going to let a teacher have sex with another student?
In 2019, the school district agreed to pay $2 million to a former student abused by a JROTC teacher. Some parents say these latest allegations have them concerned for their kids' safety. Omari Fleming, NBC7.
Still ahead, a soldier honored today, 20 years after he died while serving in Iraq. Coming up, a look at the ceremony to lay the fallen soldier alongside his fellow service members.
Are you ready for cash and prizes? I'm ready. Oh my God. Are you ready to see this? The best part of this show is giving away all the money.
Tonight at 7 on NBC7 San Diego.
What about now? That what the thief looked like. Eyes were softer. Let me just... This is him. This is the guy. You need an eye exam.
Wait weeks for an appointment? No, that's criminal.
Word on the street is at Stanton Optical, you don't have to wait for an eye exam. That way, you don't miss important details like faces. 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79 all same day. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing.
I'm John Morgan, and this is my family. More than 35 years ago, my wife Ultima and I started our firm with the simple goal to fight for families like yours.
What began as a small firm is now America's largest. But to us, it's always been more than just a business.
It's a family business. We understand what it means to face hard times and fight to overcome them. Every case we take on is personal because we know what's at stake for you.
When you're injured, we're here for you.
For the people, for the families.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
Life's messy, but your floors don't have to be. The Dreamy X50 Ultra Robot Vacuum has 20,000 pascals Vormax suction that lifts dirt quietly with an advanced fluid dynamic design. The world's first robotic retractable legs glide over obstacles up to 2.36 inches with minimal noise. The 2-in-1 wet-dry vacuum that makes floor cleaning ever so easy, so you can focus on the moments that matter. The Dreamy X50 Ultra. Relax, we've got this.
Legacy isn't handed down. It's carried forward.
Tom Yamas is there to start us off tonight.
And from one era to the next, trust is the anchor. For NBC Nightly News, I'm Tom Yamas. Starting Monday, June 2nd on NBC.
He died serving his country nearly 20 years ago, but where Matthew Hawley was laid to rest was not his final resting place.
NBC7's Joe Little had the honor of being on hand as U.S. Army Specialist Hawley finally joined his fellow service members in eternal peace.
Matthew Hawley was raised in San Diego.
Very charismatic. He was talented artistically and athletically.
His parents say 9/11 weighed heavily on their teenage son. Matthew was already old enough to know how he could help.
A couple of years later, he made a decision that he was going to serve a cause greater than himself.
Stacy and John Hawley say their son joined the U.S. Army and deployed to Iraq in 2005. Matthew was only there 6 weeks.
You know, they ran over the IED, and here we stand.
Army Specialist Matthew Hawley was only 21. He was entombed in 2005 at Glen Abbey Cemetery in Bonita because Fort Rosecrans was full and Miramar National Cemetery wasn't ready until Thursday. Flying by Patriot Guard riders, Matthew made one more journey from Bonita to Miramar 20 years after his death.
Patriot guards, attention!
Recognizing Matthew's sacrifice and the sacrifice of all of our fallen, bringing him here, in my mind, it brings him to be with his brothers and sisters.
This is the proper place for a young man who saw something wrong and decided to act to protect his family and his country. Matthew was Stacy and John's only child. He belonged to them, but now he belongs to all of us.
He's with his brothers and sisters.
At Miramar National Cemetery, Joe Little, NBC 7.
Well, Matthew Hawley's death also led to sweeping change for service members killed in action. Their bodies are now returned to the U.S. on chartered flights and greeted by honor guards at the airport.
San Diego is getting a significant amount of money to build a new substance use treatment facility and a crisis facility for kids. The state just awarded the county's behavioral health services a $29 million grant. The money comes from a bond that voters approved in March of last year, specifically to expand behavioral health treatment. The county says $21 million will be used to create that substance use treatment facility, and the remaining $8 million will help fund the children's crisis care facility.
We're now recognizing that mental health should also be prioritized as part of one's wellness, and that it needs to be treated like a chronic condition. We don't want folks bouncing in and out of emergency departments, receiving care, and then being sort of put back out.
Construction is expected to be finished in 2027. A famous rapper took the stand in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs today. What he said about his relationship with Combs and his former girlfriend, and how a car bombing was involved.
I am the kind of doctor that takes risks, even when you shouldn't. I need to make a hole in your chest.
Need some help down here. BP's down to 65 over 35.
Transplant. The final season premieres tonight on NBC and Peacock.
Wow.
Where the X are we? That is for me to know and them to find out. This ought to be fun.
Destination X, Tuesday on NBC and Peacock.
At Kearney Mesa Subaru, our loyal customers see themselves as outdoorsy, adventurous, and smart with their money. With so many models to choose from, you're sure to find a Subaru you'll love at a price you can afford, with complimentary maintenance included. And since we love giving back, we'll continue to make generous donations to the Humane Society. So stop by today and drive away happy during the Memorial Day celebration at Kearney Mesa Subaru.
Moving to V at La Jolla Village opens the door to even more. More adventures, more friendships, more play, more goals, more beach days, more gallery nights, more decadence. It's more of everything you love about retirement and a plan for care that makes it all possible. Live in the middle of more at V at La Jolla Village.
Pradeep Khosla is the chancellor of UC San Diego. When Children's Hospital put a life-saving bond on the ballot, UC San Diego Chancellor Khosla didn't vote for it. When funding for reproductive health and family planning clinics was voted on, UC San Diego Chancellor Khosla didn't vote again. UC San Diego is losing our trust.
With McValue at McDonald's, you'll get deals on drinks whenever you hit the afternoon slump.
Buy one premium lemonade or frozen drink. Add one for just $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This Memorial Day weekend, we're kicking off summer the Bob's way in all our stores coast to coast.
So bring the fam down for free treats.
And everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more.
Shop at Bob's for a family-friendly Memorial Day weekend.
Oh my God.
Federal prosecutors are continuing to present their case in Sean Combs' sex trafficking trial. And today, jurors heard from rapper Kid Cudi. He is a central figure in the trial and really the biggest name yet to take the stand. NBC's Erica Byfield has more from New York.
Kid Cudi ignored questions leaving.
Thursday morning in federal court, levying serious accusations at Sean Combs, pinning a home break-in, car fire on the rapper, now on trial. Cuddy, whose real name is Scott Miscudi, suggesting to the jury that Combs came after him after learning that Cuddy was seeing Cassie Ventura. Combs and Ventura dated for years. Cuddy testified that Combs entered his home without approval in December of 2011, saying as soon as he heard about it, he immediately called Combs. I said, expletive, are you in my house? And Combs supposedly told him, I just want to talk to you, adding that when he got home, no one was there, but his dog was on edge. Then about a month later, Cuddy says that someone torched his Porsche that was sitting in his driveway, tossed a Molotov cocktail inside. The jury seeing photos of the slashed roof, burn-up driver's side, fire and smoke damage. The defense adding that DNA evidence at the scene came back to a woman. A prosecutor said, what was your reaction to your car being set on fire? Miscudi responded, what the expletive? Then he said, after the fire, I was like, this is getting out of hand, eventually agreeing to a face-to-face meeting with Combs and Ventura in L.A., saying that when he walked in, Combs was looking out of a window with his hands behind his back, looking like a Marvel supervillain. After the chat, I stood up to shake his hand and I said, what are we going to do about my car? He said that Combs, with a cold stare, said, I don't know what you're talking about. Telling the jury a few years later, Combs came up to him and apologized. The day, though, began with Combs' former assistant on the stand. He got immunity to testify. He discussed seeing Cassie beaten, bruised, and looking the other way, saying he did the same when he saw Combs angrily throw apples at another girlfriend, Gina. A prosecutor asked him why he didn't step in, help the women. I wished it wasn't happening, and standing in the way of that was not my way to succeed. Also saying eventually fed up, he quit. I was unwilling to stand by the behavior.
In cross-examination, the defense team tried to poke holes in Kid Cudi's testimony, asking how he knew Combs was in his house if there was no surveillance video. The defense also said there is not any evidence directly linking Combs to his car catching fire.
The FDA has announced a cucumber recall due to a salmonella outbreak that has made more than 24 people sick. Now, the recall involves cucumbers grown by Bedmer growers and distributed by Fresh Start Produce Sales. They were sold to restaurants, wholesalers, retailers, and distribution centers since April 29th. At least 26 people got sick in 15 states. 9 were hospitalized. California is one of the states where people have gotten sick. The FDA right now working to determine exactly where the potentially contaminated vegetables were sold, but says if you have that brand, throw them out.
As we count down to the Winter Olympic Games next year, some familiar faces are hoping to be on those slopes, and among them is skier Michaela Schifrin.
Well, she's won more World Cup alpine ski events than anyone else, not to mention a couple of gold medals. Schifrin was among the dozens of U.S. athletes in L.A. yesterday for a promotion shoot. Here's what she said about the Winter Games being the year of the woman.
It's incredible to be part of a team of so many incredible athletes, so many powerful athletes, powerful women. And it's there's so much depth to that. And so many of all of us are doing things and talking about things that go even beyond the sport and beyond skiing. We're talking about the mental side, the emotional side, the life side, the side of getting older, the side of physical injuries and all of the things that come with it.
Well, there's a bit of a bonus for these athletes headed to Italy. Schifrin says she's familiar with the terrain and has competed there many times in the past.
Coming up on NBC 7 News at 5, Congress is standing in the way of California's ambitious plan to ban gas-powered cars. State leaders say Congress can't do that, so they're suing.
And a beautiful day. We're looking at OB, looking great. Starting to see more of the marine layer moving back in. Tracking that marine layer is going to get deeper. We're also tracking a cooling trend as we head into the weekend.
Wow, you guys did great with this place.
Yeah, and it was easy to buy with all the help we got from Navy Federal Credit Union.
I can't imagine where we'd be without them.
So what's shaking?
Nothing. Nothing's shaking.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Something new is happening at Cox. Now when you get Cox Internet and mobile, the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. guaranteed. That means no annual contracts. Plus, your Wi-Fi equipment is included. And you'll get unlimited data at no extra cost. That's a lot more of what you want and none of what you don't. Call today or visit cox.com/value to learn more.
Memorial Day savings are going on now at Jerome's. Save $1,000 on this one-time factory special. Get this 6-piece power reclining sectional big enough for the whole family with 3 power recliners, storage console, cup holders, and easy-to-clean upholstery. Originally $24.94, now just $14.94.
And furnish your entire home with up to 60 months no-interest financing. Or get a state sales tax discount. And now free expedited shipping.
Hurry to Jerome's for big Memorial Day savings.
You can find their faces everywhere, connecting us across generations, cultures, and continents, in our favorite imagery and places, even on our own faces. They're always adored and sometimes imitated, but nothing's more exciting than meeting them for real. The pandas are back at the San Diego Zoo. See them again or for the first time so we can all see them for generations to come.
Life's messy, but your floors don't have to be. The Dreamy X50 Ultra Robot Vacuum has 20,000 pascals Vormax suction that lifts dirt quietly with an advanced fluid dynamic design. The world's first robotic retractable legs glide over obstacles up to 2.36 inches with minimal noise. The 2-in-1 wet-dry vacuum that makes floor cleaning ever so easy, so you can focus on the moments that matter. The Dreamy X50 Ultra. Relax, we've got this.
Count on First Alert Weather on NBC 7.
It was a nice day around the county, and it's only going to cool down a little bit more as we inch toward that holiday weekend, Francella.
Yeah, the holiday weekend is fast approaching, Michelle. We're looking at great conditions right now. If you like the warmth, well, hopefully you enjoy the warmer temperatures inland. But now some changes. We're starting to cool down today. We're going to continue to cool down as we head into the next several days, going back to more average temperatures for this time of the year. Onshore flow will be targeting the mountains and deserts with winds 30 to about 50 miles per hour today in the afternoon and even through Friday. Right now, we don't have any wind advisories by any means. So deep marine layer will actually be getting deeper tonight. We're going to have a more condensed marine layer, and it is going to bring us some patchy dense fog and even some patchy drizzle. The reason for the changes is because our ridge of high pressure is shifting towards the east. It will be replaced by this trough. And even though the center of the low will remain to the north, that's going to enhance the onshore flow, which will in turn deepen the marine layer, cool us down, and bring us that fog as well. So visibility right now, not so bad, a little bit lower over Oceanside, but tonight, right around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, this particular model already showing visibility dropping to 2 or 3 miles. And I think it's only going to get worse as we head into the overnight hours with visibility dropping to about half a mile, possibly even less than that. So drive safely, especially tomorrow morning. The marine layer will be with us. It'll be mostly cloudy, especially along the beaches, so we're not going to see a whole lot of sunshine right on the sand. We'll see partial clearing right on the sand, and then for the inland locations, coastal areas, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies. A risk of rip currents, so it's going to be moderate for tomorrow. Waves will range between 2 to 5 feet, and our sea surface temperatures warming up to 65 degrees. Overall, temperatures tomorrow will be dropping about 5 degrees compared to today. So again, we're going to be going back to more seasonable average temperatures. Upper 60s for the coastal communities. For the inland valleys will be mostly in the upper 70s, so about 10 degrees warmer still. 81 for Ramona, lots of sunshine. 74 for Julian. Borrego Springs looking at 98 degrees and 102 for Ocotillo Wells. Here's a look at your first alert extended forecast for the coastal areas. We'll be cooling down even more as we head into Saturday. So Saturday will be the coldest day of the week with temperatures that will be right around 66. For the coast, we'll rebound just a bit on Sunday and Monday, but temperatures will remain pretty steady, very similar conditions. For the mountains, we'll see temperatures drop at least about 10 degrees on Saturday, so much colder temperatures, still nice, 71 on Sunday, and for the deserts, we'll see those temperatures also drop to the upper 80s. That's a look at your forecast.
NBC 7 News at 5 starts now.
Oh my God, a plane just crashed right here. I opened the door,
The biggest charge was from the top of the street to the bottom of the street was in flames.
I was like, am I gonna die? Are we gonna like make it out of the fire?
Yeah, it was really, really scary for dozens of military families when a private jet came crashing down in their neighborhood just before 4 this morning. The FAA now says 6 people were on the plane and all of them are now presumed dead. Thank you for joining us for the news at 5. I'm Catherine Garcia.
And I'm Nichelle Medina. Mark and Monica have the day off. Some of the final radio transmissions from the pilot of the private jet that crashed in Murphy Canyon this morning show that he appeared apprehensive about the landing.
6 Sierra. All right. That doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go.
That was the pilot referring to those weather conditions at the time. He also requested a weather report for Brown Field, but moments later, his Cessna 550 hit 2 power lines in Murphy Canyon, then a house before crashing on Sample Street. Multiple cars caught on fire. Jet fuel was strewn all over the street. Police and fire crews went door to door to try to evacuate people from their homes.
The FAA says 6 people were on the plane, and again, officials do not believe anybody survived. Among the victims, Dave Shapiro, a licensed pilot who the plane was registered to. He was also a co-founder of a music industry representation company called the Sound Talent Group. The company confirms 2 other employees were on the plane. They have not been identified. It also appears, though, that a former rock drummer named Daniel Williams was on board. He's played for the band The Devil Wears Prada.
So they had taken off from Teterboro, New Jersey at 8:15 last night, stopped for fuel in Wichita, Kansas just after midnight, then continued on to San Diego. The plane went down at 3:47 this morning.
Dana Williams and Shelby Bremer are following the latest developments. Dana has been speaking with families who had to evacuate their homes as their entire street was on fire. We're going to start, though, with Shelby and a look at what this neighborhood is like right now this afternoon, Shelby.
Yeah, Catherine, Nichelle, I'm standing on Salmon Street right now, and this is Sample right down here, but I want to show you the destruction behind me. This is the home that the plane collided with. We do know that the people who live here were inside, but somehow miraculously managed to escape. I mean, looking at this, it's just really surreal. So surreal, in fact, that one of the city officials that spoke this morning said it looked like something out of a movie.
Yo.
Confusion and horror as those who live in Murphy Canyon awoke to an apocalyptic scene. At around 3:45 a.m., a Cessna 550 crashed from the sky onto Salmon and Sample Streets.
Oh my God, a plane just crashed right here.
It was a boom and then a loud so I thought it was an earthquake.
Ronald Jones had no idea what happened, but rushed his family to safety.
It was a big, a gigantic ball of fire.
Investigators say the private jet was carrying 6 people as it left New Jersey Wednesday night. It stopped for fuel in Wichita, Kansas, and was destined for Montgomery Airport. This photo shows the plane before takeoff, posted on social media by musician Daniel Williams. Sound Talent Group shared they lost 3 employees, including co-founder Dave Shapiro, a licensed pilot. The NTSB says the plane hit a power line 2 miles southeast of the airport before it came crashing down, destroying a home and several cars below.
We do have a wing on the road just on the other side.
The field of debris is still too wide to fully understand in one of the largest military communities in the world. Their emergency preparedness, officials say, saved lives.
We had one of the best outcomes that I could possibly say that came from this, because when I was coming on scene, I did not expect that same outcome as I got here.
Many pieces of the puzzle hours later remain a mystery.
So this airplane likely has a flight data recorder and possibly a cockpit voice recorder as well. We haven't recovered those now.
But with no deaths on the ground, many said it was a miracle this tragedy wasn't far worse.
It was like a chain reaction of boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh no, we gotta go because we might be next.
Now, the NTSB says that they will be here through the night into tomorrow, but we're really at the beginning stages of this investigation. They expect to release a preliminary report in the next few weeks, but they say the entire case could take between 12 and 18 months. Reporting live in Murphy Canyon, Shelby Bremer, NBC 7.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. Shelby, thank you.
All right, let's go to Dana Williams now at Hancock Elementary School, where evacuated families have been getting help, and there has been an outpouring of help, Dana.
Yep, it's so true. There has truly been an outpouring of support. There have been nonstop donations being made to the schools today. And I want to explain first the temporary evacuation site earlier today, right after the plane crashed, was Miller Elementary. About 2 hours ago, the fire department came. They gave a briefing to the families who were there. They reopened a lot of the roads in this area. And because of that, the evacuation site was moved here to Hancock Elementary. We're told it's a lot closer to the homes that were impacted. And so it was just made more sense to make it easier on the families now. Only about a half a dozen families are here receiving support. Everybody is going to have a roof over their heads tonight, whether that's Airbnb or hotels. Everyone will be taken care of. But earlier over at Miller, the people who we spoke with say they will never forget today.
It was around 3 o'clock in the morning. Something told me to get up. I saw a beam of light, and then it was a bigger boom than lightning, which we originally thought it was lightning.
I heard like this like big bang like behind me, and like lots like sounds outside, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
Oh my God. I opened the door. I see my neighbor's car explode. The first thing I do is run upstairs, grab my children, my wife, and I'm in my underwear.
It was a 3 a.m. wake-up call no one wanted.
Actually happened directly in front of my house. Like from me to you is how close it was. My lawn was on fire when we got out.
Timon Wilkes says he's been in the Navy for 8 years. You can imagine what he's seen, but he says nothing quite compares to this.
You're fighting fires in the fleet, but when you're fighting a fire at your home, it's a little different. My children are there and stuff like that.
Thankfully, he and his family were able to get out safely. They joined dozens of others and came here to Miller Elementary School.
It's a really, really tight community, and even if we didn't know the people directly that were affected, we want to come out here and show our support.
Sabrina Schroth's husband is also with the Navy. She lives a block away from the school and came to donate. But she says this same neighbor helping neighbor is just how the military community operates.
They are quick to bond because of how much we move around and everything. So I think we just see it as coming together like we normally do. I don't think we think it's anything special.
But sometimes when all you have are the clothes on your back.
My command gave me this. I have one T-shirt under this, and I'm grabbing some clothes right now because we're not allowed in our house.
It really is special for those who wonder, is there anything left?
If there is a house, I don't even know if our house is there yet.
Both Hancock and Miller Elementary are going to be reopened tomorrow. We're told that there will be a meeting with parents at 7:45 a.m. here at Hancock. That's according to the school district, just to kind of acknowledge what a difficult day this has been for the community. But again, you have until the end of the day today, as of now, for any families who need any sort of support to come here to Hancock and get whatever they need. But for now, reporting live from the Murphy Canyon neighborhood, I'm Dana Williams, NBC 7.
Dana, thanks so much.
The San Diego Humane Society rushed to help evacuated pets, including 3 huskies that had jet fuel on their fur. Please help get the 3 dogs to the Humane Society's van. They were then taken to the Gain Street Center, where the medical team gave them a bath. The Humane Society took in a total of 8 dogs at Gain Street. Another 8 puppies were taken to the Escondido campus for decontamination baths.
Coming up at 6, we'll hear from an experienced pilot who has been going over the last radio transmissions from the pilot and has some perspective on what might have happened.
And one thing investigators are going to be looking into, Francella, visibility at the time. And we know this morning in some parts of the county, it wasn't great.
Yeah, visibility was very poor overnight into this morning, that's for sure. Right now, it's looking pretty good. No major problems. Everything's looking A-okay. But let's take a look at the spatial disorientation. This is something that pilots have to deal with at times. It's kind of like when you're driving on the freeway and you miss your exit. You can't see where your exit is and you're just kind of disoriented. It's the same thing for pilots. They can't tell the altitude or the speed of the aircraft relative to other points of reference. The pilots may actually think that they're flying straight when they're actually taking a dive, and this is especially dangerous during the nighttime hours. Now, the closest observation to that location was Miramar, and that, based on what the National Weather Service is telling me, was about 1/4 of a mile to 1/2 a mile. It could have been even lower than that. So tonight, we're going to see the return of the marine layer. It's going to be even deeper, more extensive. We're going to start to see lowering visibility at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, as early as that, earlier than last night. And we'll see it drop to about a half a mile or less overnight into tomorrow morning. So make sure that you drive safely, slow down, use your low beams, check for flight status in case there's some delays coming up. We'll have you Memorial Day weekend forecasts when I see you next.
Okay, see you then. Thank you, Francella. California has long been a leader in air pollution standards for cars, but a Senate vote today could undo certain rules. We'll take a look at the impact that could have here and also around the country.
You may not know San Diego was a significant resettlement location for Cambodian refugees after the fall of the communist regime known as the Khmer Rouge. They share their memories next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Sedano Automotive Group.
We are Sedano Automotive Group, the dealerships for the people. Everyone deserves a chance to drive the vehicle of their choice. Everyone deserves a fair opportunity and not just to be treated like a piece of paper or a credit score. Hi, this is Manny Sedano, and our commitment to excellence here at Sedano Ford should always be above and beyond your expectations. And with our extensive inventory of trucks, SUVs, and commercial fleet, you name it, we have it. We are San Diego. We are Sedano Ford in Lincoln, the dealerships for the people.
Go pink with Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air for clear drains. Our experts restore smooth drain flow for just $63, or it's free.
A vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line is so much more because there's more included. Like unlimited drinks, followed by amazing meals, plus free Wi-Fi. Oh, hey, Tom, I gotta go. I love you. Experience more with Norwegian.
Is constant shoulder pain limiting your life? At a free webinar with experts from Sharp Healthcare, you'll learn about the latest non-surgical and surgical treatment options. Register by phone or at sharp.com/shoulder.
Not the best sound to start your day with, is it? Your next decision should be to call Precision. Our professionally trained technicians are here to provide you with award-winning service every time, so we can get you back up and running fast. Call or book online today.
Visit your San Diego County Cadillac dealer today.
Are you ready for cash and prizes? I'm ready. Oh my God. Are you ready to see this? The best part of this show is giving away all the money.
Tonight at 7 on NBC 7 San Diego.
After months of back and forth, House Republicans took a major step overnight to advance President Trump's agenda.
This is the one that he calls one big, beautiful bill, and it passed the House by one vote. 2 Republicans joined all of the Democrats in voting no, Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio. Republicans made one last round of revisions in order to get some of the final holdouts on board. They boosted the state and local tax deduction to win over centrists and sped up the work requirements in Medicaid to win over those who thought the bill did not go far enough to reduce spending. The bill now heads to the Senate, where Republicans have promised to make even more changes. House Speaker Mike Johnson is asking them not to change too much.
We stand ready to continue our work together to deliver on the one big, beautiful bill, as President Trump named it himself. We're going to send that to his desk. We're going to get it there by Independence Day on July 4th, and we are going to celebrate a new golden age in America.
President Trump told Senate Republicans today there is no time to waste. Any changes the Senate makes would have to then be approved by the House.
The Senate voted today to undo 3 of California's anti-pollution measures, including the first in the nation rule banning the sale of new gas-powered cars by 2035. The governor and state attorney general Rob Bonta, they say what Congress is doing is illegal and suing to keep the rules in place.
Big day for big oil, big day for GM and Toyota, big day for China. Terrible day for your kids, terrible day for air quality. It's an act of theft against our kids and grandkids. It's not complicated.
Senators blocked the emissions rules using a narrow exception to the filibuster. The House had already approved the measure, so they now go to the president's desk. The governor and state AG say that California has the authority to set its own standards. They're asking the courts to step in if the emissions standards are struck down. It could have a big impact nationwide. About a dozen states have adopted California's standards.
Justices on the U.S. Supreme Court issued a tied decision today, which means Oklahoma will not be able to launch the nation's first religious charter school. The ruling was 4-4. Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself. She didn't provide a reason for doing so, but it's been reported that she has personal ties related to the school involved in the case. The tie means the lower court's ruling stands, which in this case said the proposal to launch a Catholic virtual school using taxpayer money violates the Constitution and state law. Because the high court justices did not reach a majority decision, this ruling does not set a nationwide precedent on whether states are allowed to finance religious charter schools.
Pope Leo made his first American bishop appointment today, and it's for San Diego. He named Auxiliary Bishop Michael Pham as Bishop of San Diego. The 58-year-old fills the vacancy created when Cardinal Robert McElroy became Archbishop of Washington, D.C. earlier this year. Pham was born in Vietnam and was ordained a priest in the San Diego Diocese in 1999.
All right, we have a holiday weekend coming our way, Francella. No pressure, but you've
Yes.
got people coming in from all over, wanting some pretty nice weather.
And they're going to get it. They're going to get it. Today has been absolutely beautiful, so hopefully you're enjoying it as well. We started this week with very warm temperatures, well above average. So that's going to be changing, though. We're going to begin to cool down just a bit. But outside, looking great. A lot of sunshine. Here's a look at your weather headlines. Cooling down started today, really, but tomorrow it's going to be more noticeable as we head into Friday, especially Saturday. We're going to go back to more seasonable temperatures for this time of the year. We'll have some gusty winds as well over the mountains and the desert areas, and that is because of the onshore flow. The winds will be going up to about 50 miles per hour or so, and then the marine layer will also be deepening tonight and tomorrow morning. It's only going to get deeper in the next several days. Even a chance of some patchy drizzle will be possible. The reason for the big change is we had this huge ridge of high pressure that was very strong, brought us a little taste of summer. That is shifting east, and a trough is going to be diving down south. The low pressure will remain to the north, but that will enhance the onshore flow. That'll bring us a deeper marine layer and also cooler temperatures, more seasonable for this time of year. Here's a look at the marine layer. It's going to be even more, it's going to be more extensive tonight compared to last night. So it's going to make it all the way into portions of the valleys by tonight. In fact, we'll see the chance of some patchy drizzle, maybe some mist, especially right along the coast from that marine layer. And fog, again, that's going to be an issue again tonight. By 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, we may start to see visibility drop to less than 3 miles, but it's only going to get even thicker as we head into the overnight hours, with visibility dropping to half a mile or less. So drive safely out there. When you're going to work in the morning, going to school, check for possible flight delays. So again, slow down and make sure that you increase your following distance. Use your low beams. You'd be surprised how many people use their high beams. Here's a look at the planner for tomorrow in downtown San Diego. Again, we'll start with the clouds and the fog. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s. By lunchtime, we'll be right around 67, 68 degrees. Temperatures tomorrow will drop about 5 degrees compared to today. So for the coastal areas, the valleys as well, 70 for the coast, 81 for the inland valleys, the mountains, 74, lots of sunshine, the deserts, 102. So we'll be right around where we should be for this time of year, within 2 to 3 degrees plus or minus. So that's pretty much on the spot. As we head into Saturday, it'll be even cooler. So Saturday will be the coolest day of the week. Temperatures will be right around 69 for the coast. So another drop in temperatures, at least 5 degrees. And then we'll rebound just a bit Sunday into Monday, but they'll stay pretty consistent and steady for Sunday and Monday. So no big changes there. A look at your first alert extended forecast. Again, for Saturday, that'll be the coldest day. The marine layer is going to be very thick. So we're going to see a chance of some patchy drizzle, probably heavier drizzle for Friday night into Saturday morning because of that marine layer. And then for Sunday into Monday, again, things are going to be very nice. It'll be mostly sunny for the mountains, plenty of sunshine over the mountains for Memorial Day, as well as the desert, 97 degrees.
Thanks, Francella. So yes, Memorial Day weekend is almost here. And coming up, we'll have a look at the annual tradition to honor each service member buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
Count on First Alert Weather on NBC 7.
Schedule your $39 seasonal tune-up with ARS Rescue Rooter today. The expert technicians at ARS Rescue Rooter will ensure your heating and cooling systems are running at peak efficiency, helping you avoid costly breakdowns. Call 866-482-2990 to schedule your appointment.
The Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. The 9-time Tony Award winner is genius, brilliant, phenomenal. The Book of Mormon is the funniest musical of all time. It's the gold standard for comedy that goes further than any other comedy in history. You won't believe how funny it is. You won't believe how much heart it has. And when it's over, you won't believe how much you'll want to see it again. The Book of Mormon, June 10th through 15th at the Civic Theater. Tickets at BroadwaySD.com.
Pradeep Khosla is the Chancellor of UC San Diego. When Children's Hospital put a life-saving bond on the ballot, UC San Diego Chancellor Khosla didn't vote for it. When funding for reproductive health and family planning clinics was voted on, UC San Diego Chancellor Khosla didn't vote again. UC San Diego is losing our trust.
San Diego, with employee pricing, you pay what we pay. And with only 5 days to save, the deals are even bigger during the Ford Memorial Day Sell-a-thon. Right now, get an extra $1,000 open trade assist cash on Ford's best-selling trucks and SUVs. Ford, we're from America, for America. Get employee pricing and lease a Ford F-150 STX for just $319 a month. But hurry, these deals end May 27th during the Ford Memorial Day Sell-a-thon. Go to your San Diego County Ford dealers today.
As a member of Navy Federal Credit Union, Nick feels financially at ease, which means he can worry about other things, like crossing this river. What if his feet get wet? Did he bring extra socks? Are there salmon in the river? Are salmon aggressive? Nick has a lot of things to worry about. But as a member of Navy Federal, his finances aren't one of them. Become a member today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Schedule your $99 main drain line clearing with ARS Rescue Rooter and receive a free video camera inspection. The experienced technicians at ARS are ready to solve all of your drain problems. Call 866-482-2990 to schedule your appointment.
Next Jeopardy! He may be on his way to $50,000.
I collect transit cards.
That is a Jeopardy nerd thing.
Yeah. Will his next stop be a third win?
What do you want to risk here?
Tonight at 7:30 on NBC 7 San Diego.
This year marks 5 decades since the fall of Saigon and also the 50-year anniversary of a lesser-known part of history in that part of the world, the rise of the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia.
After it toppled, hundreds of thousands of refugees fled and a Cambodian community grew right here in San Diego. NBC 7's Joey Safchik shares their stories and why they hope their history is not invisible.
In this San Diego backyard, you can smell tamarind, fresh citrus, and fish amuk.
It's our culture.
You can see papaya and the Cambodian flag proudly on display.
Saltiness, bitterness, spiciness.
And you can taste history.
There you go. Got it.
I remember having this as a child when my grandma used to make it.
For 19-year-old Evan Kim, it's his grandma's history.
And she was really traumatized.
One he never got the chance to ask her about.
Ever since she passed away, I felt like this deep connection with her.
So he started asking his mom about how her mom made it from Cambodia to California following years of near starvation under the Khmer Rouge, the notorious communist regime that came to power 50 years ago, ruling for 4 years, inciting a brutal civil war and slaughtering ethnic minorities, ultimately convicted of genocide. It's estimated 2 million people died of starvation, forced labor, or murder. That set in motion several waves of refugees fleeing to the United States, mostly in the early 80s.
The life was so difficult.
Greg Kut was a preteen when he left Cambodia with his mother.
Any human being should not go through that life. that I and my family and many Cambodians had to go through.
Yet 5 decades on, he fears the history is forgotten. That's why Kut is willing to dig up the memories from his early life.
It is hard, and yet I want the world to know. I do not want it to happen to anybody else in the world.
After stints at camps in Thailand and the Philippines, his family landed in San Diego.
I call it a land of paradise.
Grab a little bit of vegetables here.
When Jackie Sangsanoy Heng's family left Cambodia, they couldn't know if paradise awaited.
We didn't know whether it was heaven or hell. We were just taking a chance at coming to a foreign place.
There are similar stories all around this table, some sweet, some bitter, all fundamental to the community that blossomed in San Diego.
It's in the right field all day long, no food to eat, no medication, and no hope.
Lim Chang was in his mid-20s when he left for America, looking for peace and peace of mind. He ran San Diego donut shops for nearly 4 decades and now spends his days tending to the garden that reminds him of his roots.
I feel very, very, very proud to Cambodian food.
That pride is what college student Evan Kim is hoping to stir up in himself and other young Cambodian Americans. That's why he preserved his grandma's story in an article for his school paper.
She would always ask if I was hungry. It was her love language. And she would cook anything I requested, no matter how time-consuming or difficult.
Although there are still gaps in his family history, questions he may never know the answers to, he is certain his grandma took great risks to find refuge and that he takes great pride in knowing her story won't be forgotten.
I think ever since my grandma's passing, I realized how much my life was so valuable after the effort she put in to give me a childhood.
Hope within this community that there's a growing appetite to learn about their history and the tasty traditions they bring to San Diego. Joey Safchik, NBC7.
Well, Cambodia held its National Day of Remembrance this week to honor the victims of the genocide.
Next on Nightly News, the latest developments in the feud between the president and Harvard. The administration is now trying to block the university from enrolling international students. And a sit-down interview with HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about a new report from the Make America Healthy Again Commission.
Current owners and lessees of an eligible competitive luxury brand vehicle get this low mileage lease on this 2025 Cadillac Lyriq all-wheel drive Luxury One for around $499 per month.
If you want to sell your house fast, as is, and receive a cash offer today, call Sunday. Hi, I'm Josh, and I want to give you a fully transparent, no obligation cash offer on your San Diego home. Thousands of homeowners have put their trust in us. No matter what condition your home is in, we can help. You'll pay no fees and close in as little as 10 days. And the cherry on top? You may be eligible for up to a $20,000 cash advance before closing. Call us today and sell the Sunday way.
At Sharp Healthcare, this is the world's most advanced robotic surgery and the value of human touch. This is the region's only focused ultrasound for people with movement disorders and the neurosurgeon devoted to restoring their lives. This is the respiratory therapist who cares for baby June and the volunteer who rocks her to sleep. The science of medicine, the art of caring. This is the Sharp experience. Find your new doctor at sharp.com.
That sound? It's your HVAC system telling you it's time for a checkup. But do you need a repair or is it time for a full replacement? Let our experts assess your system and maximize every available option to save you money. Call Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air today and get honest expert advice. Don't guess. Let us guide you. Receive 3 options guaranteed or it's free. Visit AndersonPHA.com. Nobody wows clients like we do.
More than 1,000 service members joined forces this morning to place American flags at every gravesite inside Arlington National Cemetery for the Memorial Day holiday. The flags are being installed in front of about 260,000 headstones at Arlington. The annual tradition called Flags In is meant to honor the service members who are buried there. The flags will be removed following the Memorial Day weekend.
Some Ace Hardware stores will be giving away free American flags on Saturday. It's part of a Memorial Day promotion, which will also help provide flags for veterans' graves. Locally, the Hillcrest, San Carlos, Ramona, and Oceanside stores are taking part. You can get a free 8 by 12-inch flag between 11 and 2 on Saturday while supplies last. The goal is to hand out 1 million flags across the country. For each one handed out, another will be donated to the VFW. Coming up on NBC 7 News at 6 p.m., it is a worst-case scenario in aviation crashing into a community. A local pilot explains the challenges commonly encountered when flying this specific route into San Diego. Plus, despite trying to iron out their legal statuses, there are new reports of immigrants being detained mid-hearing, why a local attorney is now calling it kidnapping. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt is next.
We'll see you again at 6 o'clock. Thanks for being with us.
NBC 7 News at 4 starts now.